What if the person you mourned for years was never dead, and your own family buried the truth? On a birthday meant to be forgotten, Oliver receives a message that unravels everything he thought he knew. As betrayal bleeds through every memory, he sets out to uncover a web of lies, stolen inheritance, and the chilling secret his family fought to keep hidden. But some ghosts don't stay buried, and some sons don't stay silent. He was buried alive by his own family. Now Oliver is digging up the truth they tried to erase. Oliver stood in the hallway, shoulders tense, phone still warm in his hand. The echo of his father's voice clung to the air like smoke. "It's better when you're not around. Less stress for everyone." William's tone had been cutting jagged like a bottle broken at the neck. Oliver hadn't said a word in return. He just stood there like a coat left on the hook, silent, motionless, unwanted. From the kitchen, his mother's voice rang out, too bright, too forced. "Oh, come on, don't be so harsh. But really, maybe you should spend your birthday somewhere else. We've got enough on our plate." Oliver looked to the dining table. Empty wine glasses, a half-eaten cake plate still flecked with sauce. There was no place set for him. No chair, no fork, not even a casual happy birthday scrawled on a napkin. Just crumbs, scattered like forgotten memories. Charlotte, his younger sister, lounged on the couch, her legs folded underneath her as she scrolled through her phone. Without looking up, she muttered, "Happy birthday, by the way." Her voice was laced with syrupy sarcasm. "I was going to post a throwback of us, but, I figured you'd want privacy." Privacy, as if being invisible was his choice. He didn't ask why they hadn't invited him to celebrate. He already knew. He had always been the filler, the afterthought, the one who gave everything and received nothing, the one who picked up groceries when Victoria didn't feel like driving, the one who fixed William's old Toyota every other weekend, the one who loaned Charlotte rent money twice and never got it back. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. Instead, he slipped his phone into his coat pocket and whispered, "Enjoy your night." Then he left. No slamming doors, no dramatic exit, just the quiet shuffle of a man too used to being forgotten. He walked to his car, the cold wind curling through his coat like fingers made of ice. As he slid behind the wheel, he stared out at the streetlights' warped halos through the thin mist on his windshield and tried to remember a single moment when his family had made him feel loved, valued, celebrated. But nothing came. The drive home was a blur. He didn't even remember the turns he made or the red lights he ran. The city stretched around him like a dream gone stale, one he couldn't wake up from. Back in his small flat, he turned off the lights. He didn't bother to eat, didn't turn on the TV. The silence was almost cruel in its completeness. For a moment, he told himself it didn't hurt, that it was just another day, just another dinner he didn't matter at, just another year unloved. At midnight, he turned his phone back on. Maybe, just maybe, there'd be a message, a stray happy birthday from an old school friend, a co-worker, anyone. There was one, but it wasn't from anyone he expected. "Happy birthday. I'm alive." Oliver frowned. The number wasn't saved in his contacts. His first instinct was to delete it. Some prank, a scam, but something made him look again. The contact name said grandfather. His blood ran cold. His grandfather, Richard Hargreaves, had been dead for 3 years. Stroke, they told him. Small funeral. Only close family, they said. Oliver hadn't been invited. Too much going on, they claimed. You were working overtime. Still, he remembered the obituary. He had seen the photos Victoria texted after the fact. A headstone, some flowers, William in black. He stared at the message, the words starting to bleed into each other. Then another one came through. "They lied to you. Your house, your inheritance. They took it. I need your help." His heart thudded against his ribs like a trapped animal. His palms were cold, his skin clammy. This had to be a joke. And yet, the area code, it matched the town his grandfather used to live in. With trembling fingers, he replied, "Oliver, who is this?" 3 dots appeared. then stopped, then started again. A full minute passed before the response came. A no number. They locked me away. They said I was losing my mind. But I'm still here, still fighting. Oliver couldn't breathe. He felt like the walls were closing in. Could it be true? Could his family have faked a death, stolen his grandfather's estate? He didn't want to believe it, but he couldn't ignore the dread blooming in his chest. Without even thinking, he pulled up the number and traced it. Nursing home, 2 towns over. His coat was already back on before he realized he was standing. The building was grey and tired, sagging at the corners like a man at the end of his rope. Time had worn it down, the way wind smoothed stone slowly, relentlessly. The nurse at the front desk looked up when he entered. Her smile flickered when she saw the panic on his face. I'm here to see Richard Hargreaves. I think he's my grandfather. She stared at him, then something in her eyes shifted. Recognition, sympathy. You must be Oliver. He blinked. You know who I am. He talks about you every day. Room 214. The hallway smelled like antiseptic and old memories. Oliver's steps echoed too loudly. His hand shook as he reached for the door. He opened it. There by the window sat a man wrapped in a thin blanket. Silver hair, sunken cheeks, hands gnarled with time. But the eyes, those were the same. Sharp, alive. They met Oliver's and held them. I knew you'd come, the old man said, his voice like autumn leaves rustling in wind. Oliver stepped inside. He wanted to run, to cry, to scream. Grandfather. He nodded, smiling faintly. Hello, son. You're alive. But they said you died. They buried you. They buried a box. An empty one. Told everyone it was family only. Didn't they? Yes. I refused to sign over the house, the money. So they faked it. Said I was crazy. Locked me away. Oliver collapsed onto the edge of the bed. The walls swayed. All those years, they never told me. They told you what was convenient because they needed it. The money, the property. And they knew you'd never question it. They said the funeral was small, that I couldn't make it. They didn't want you there. They didn't want any chance I'd tell you the truth. A long silence stretched between them. I tried to fight them, Oliver, but they had power of attorney. They said I was senile. The doctor they paid off signed it. They took my phone. I begged for months. Then one nurse, God bless her, let me borrow hers. The message that had pulled the thread and unraveled everything. Oliver looked up, his voice low and tight. I won't let them get away with this. His grandfather's hand clutched his own, frail but fierce. Be careful, they're desperate, and they have nothing left to lose. Oliver stood. Something inside him had shifted, hardened. He walked back to his car, the cold air slicing across his face. But he didn't feel it. His phone was already in his hand, already ringing. William picked up. Well, look who remembers his family exists. Oliver didn't shout, didn't curse. He just said, I just visited grandfather. There was silence on the line, the kind of silence that splits glass. I know everything. Oliver continued, his voice flat. I know what you did. Then he hung up. They called back, again and again. But Oliver didn't answer. He wasn't the same boy who'd been forgotten at the table. He was someone else now. Someone dangerous. Someone with the truth. Oliver sat in his apartment, the phone buzzing endlessly on the table beside him. William, Victoria, Charlotte, again and again. He didn't answer. Their voices, their excuses had already haunted him enough for one lifetime. What mattered now was truth and justice. The calm he'd felt in the car after confronting his father was short-lived. Now, adrenaline curled around his spine, fueling something deeper than anger. Clarity. He stood and moved to the cupboard above the fridge where they thought he never looked. But Oliver always remembered where they kept their files. Tax records, copies of bank statements. Even the old property paperwork, dusty and frayed at the edges. It was all there. They had underestimated him, as always. Within an hour, he had found the first forged document. It was subtle, a signature that didn't match, a transfer labelled renovation fund that led straight into an account under Victoria's name. Then another, this one, into Charlotte's. Thousands of pounds, all siphoned from Richard Hargreaves's estate. His grandfather's voice echoed in his memory. They took everything, lad. They did. And they hid it in plain sight. Oliver opened his laptop and created a folder. One word: truth. Inside, he began collecting photos of documents, screenshots of bank transfers, a scan of the forged will juxtaposed with a sample of his grandfather's real signature, videos of the nursing home visit his grandfather speaking clear and lucid. Each file was a nail in the coffin of their deception. Then came the Facebook post. Victoria's name lit up his feed. Families are built on love, trust, and forgiveness. Some people just can't let go of bitterness. Beneath it, the echo chamber began. Don't worry, darling. Some children just grow up selfish. Aunt Margaret. Ungrateful is an understatement. Uncle James. He's always been the problem child. Charlotte. They were trying to control the narrative, painting him as unstable, bitter, vindictive. But they didn't know Oliver had evidence, that for once he held the power. That night, Charlotte sent a message. Grow up. Grandfather's old. He doesn't even remember half of what he says. You want the house, fine, but you're not getting a cent from me. You've always been selfish. Selfish. The boy who paid their bills. The son who missed holidays to clean up their messes. The brother who lent money without ever asking for it back. He didn't throw the phone. He didn't scream. Instead, he smiled faintly. Then he took a breath and made copies of every document on multiple drives. One physical, two cloud-based. He wasn't going to lose this battle to some accidental deletion or an erased hard drive. This wasn't about revenge anymore. This was about truth. 3 days later, Oliver arranged to meet them. He chose a quiet cafe on the edge of town, one with no windows near his table and a clear view of the door. He arrived early, ordered nothing, and plugged his USB into the laptop. The folder. Truth sat waiting. Inside it, everything. At exactly 6:00 p.m., the cafe door opened. William, stiff and fuming. Victoria, pale and cautious. Charlotte, smiling, but it was that brittle, sugary smile she wore when she knew she'd been caught. Without a word, they sat across from him. He didn't speak at first. He just looked at them. Victoria broke first. "Honey," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "Can we please talk this through? We're family." Oliver's gaze didn't soften. "Like you talked me through grandfather's death. Like you sat me down and explained why you stole everything that was meant for me." William slammed his palm on the table. "Don't you dare talk to us like that. You don't know what you're saying." Oliver turned his laptop so the screen faced them. He clicked on the first video. His grandfather's voice crackled through the speakers. "They took it. The house, the money, everything. They lied to you." Victoria's hand shot to her mouth. Charlotte's smile faltered. "Stop this," William growled. "He's senile. He doesn't know what he's saying." Oliver clicked again. A scanned document. 2 signatures, one genuine, the other a forgery. The handwriting was close but flawed, sloppy. Charlotte snorted. "You think this makes you a hero? You always act so naive, like the world's black and white." "No," Oliver said. "I just finally see your colours." He clicked again. Screenshots. Charlotte's Instagram filled with luxury spa days, designer bags, 5-star hotels. On the side, matching bank transfers from his grandfather's account. Charlotte's eyes narrowed. "You had no right to go through my things. Like you had no right to steal an inheritance that wasn't yours." Victoria's voice cracked. Please, we were trying to protect you. You've always been so sensitive. We thought it was better this way. Better for who? Oliver said, leaning forward. For the man you left to rot in a nursing home while you spent his money. William's voice turned dangerous. This is family business. If you don't shut your mouth right now. Or what? Oliver cut him off. You'll lie again. Tell everyone I'm unstable. Like you did when I refused to co-sign Charlotte's loan. Like you did when I asked why grandfather's will was never read. William went red. You've always been difficult. That's funny, Oliver said. Because grandfather's here. The door opened and Richard Hargreaves stepped in. He was slower than before, leaning on a cane, but he stood tall, proud. Victoria gasped. Charlotte squeaked. William's mouth hung open. Hello, son, the old man said. Surprised to see me. You, William stammered. You're supposed to be dead. Richard's voice turned still. You told everyone I was losing my mind, that I couldn't live alone. You promised to take care of me. You promised to honor my wishes. We did. Victoria choked. We tried. No, he interrupted. You didn't try. You locked me up, took my name, my money. You faked my death so you could keep it all. William shot up from his seat. That's it. This is a trap. We're leaving. Oliver stood. Sit down. And for the first time in his life, William obeyed. I have enough to expose you, Oliver said coldly. All of you. Victoria broke. Tears streamed down her face. We can fix this. Please. We made mistakes, but we're your family. No, Oliver said, looking each of them in the eye. From now on, you're stranger. A week later, Oliver stood outside the house he had grown up in. A sheriff's car idled on the curb. Movers hauled boxes and bags to the front lawn. Victoria sobbed on the porch. William screamed. Charlotte stood still, white-faced and stunned. You can't do this, William shouted, struggling against a deputy. This is our house. No, Oliver said, his voice calm. It was never yours. You stole it. I'm just taking it back. Victoria dropped to her knees in front of Richard. Please, Dad, we were wrong, but we're your family. Richard looked down at her, voice cold. You're nothing to me now. William lunged forward. Another officer restrained him. You'll regret this, he roared. You'll never be happy without us. But Oliver turned away. They drove to the house, their house together, grandfather and grandson. A team rebuilt from the ashes. They painted the walls, bought new furniture. Richard planted roses in the garden just like he'd always wanted. Each morning, Oliver brewed 2 cups of coffee and watched the sunlight dance on the petals. You know, Richard said one day, your father always thought he was clever, but he never understood the difference between cleverness and wisdom. Oliver smiled. I guess he learnt the hard way. But peace doesn't come without echoes. A letter arrived the next week. Victoria, begging. We were wrong. Your father is sick. We need help. Another from Charlotte. I lost my job. I have nothing. Please, just a little. Oliver read each one, then dropped them into the fireplace. He watched the flames devour them, their words, curling into ash, meaningless as ever. William never wrote, but Oliver heard from old neighbours. He'd lost his job, spiralled into debt, turned to alcohol. Of course he blamed Oliver. He always did. The morning sunlight spilled through the window of their new home, not the old crumbling house where lies were told and love was conditional, but a place built on truth, on hard-won peace. The roses in the garden had begun to bloom. Every petal felt like a small rebellion, every leaf a quiet victory. Oliver poured 2 cups of coffee and carried one to the small table on the balcony. His grandfather, now stronger with each passing day, was already there with the newspaper folded neatly in his lap. "You didn't sleep," Richard said, softly studying his grandson's face. "I was thinking," Oliver replied, staring at the garden, "about what comes next." The court date had been set. The case was airtight. Still, the thought of walking into a courtroom and laying bare the ugliest parts of his family's betrayal sent a pulse of unease through him. But this wasn't about comfort. It was about accountability. His grandfather sipped his coffee. "They'll squirm, they'll shout, they'll lie until their voices crack. But you have the truth. That's more powerful than any trick they ever played." Oliver nodded slowly. They thought they could control everything, but not anymore. The courtroom was quiet, sterile, a place where justice often felt like a rumor. But today, Oliver had fax documents, dates, transfers, signatures, videos. He sat beside his solicitor, hands steady, heart calm. On the other side of the room sat Victoria, shoulders tense, mascara already smudged from pre-hearing tears. William looked like a storm waiting to explode. Charlotte sat between them, arms crossed, jaw clenched. The judge entered stern and unreadable. Then it began. The solicitor presented the case, clearly, methodically, devastatingly. Forged death certificate, fraudulent property transfer, bank statements showing thousands siphoned from Richard's account into Victoria and Charlotte's, video testimony from Richard himself, witness statements from staff at the nursing home. William stood, voice rising in fury. "This is all fake. He's manipulating everyone." The judge raised her hand sharply. "Mr. Hargreaves, sit down." Victoria sobbed quietly into her scarf. Charlotte didn't speak, but her eyes never left the floor. Then Richard rose. Slowly, using his cane, he made his way to the witness stand. His voice was soft, but it rang through the room like church bells. "They stole my life," he said. "Locked me away, told my grandson I was dead, took my money, my house, and used my name like a stolen coat. But my grandson, he found me. He brought me home. He gave me my voice back." There was silence as the judge looked over the evidence one last time. Then the gavel struck. The court finds the defendants guilty of elder financial abuse fraud and falsification of legal documents. All assets and property will be returned to Mr. Richard Hargreaves and his legal heir, Mr. Oliver Hargreaves. The defendants are ordered to vacate the premises within 7 days. William shot up. "You can't do this. It's our house." Oliver stood. His voice didn't shake. "It was never yours." Exactly 7 days later, Oliver pulled up to the driveway of the family home. His family, once cruel, manipulative, dismissive, stood outside like broken statues. Movers loaded their belongings into a dented sedan. The sheriff stood by the gate. William was red-faced, yelling at an officer. "This is illegal. You can't take everything." Oliver walked up calmly, standing beside his grandfather. "I didn't take it," he said, voice level. "I took it back." Victoria rushed forward, falling to her knees in front of Richard. "Please, Dad, we made mistakes, but we're your family." Richard's eyes were steely. "You were, until you left me to rot." Charlotte stood in the background, silent. Her pride had crumbled into something pitiful. Her mouth opened, but she said nothing. William tried one last time, lunging forward. The sheriff stopped him cold. "This is your final warning, sir." And then they were gone, dragged away by the same lies they had built their lives on. In the weeks that followed, Oliver and Richard turned the house into something it had never been before, a home. They stripped the walls, painted over memories, replaced every cold corner with warmth. Richard planted more roses. Dozens. "I want them to cover the whole garden," he said one morning. "So when I look outside, all I see is life." And for the first time in decades, he smiled. Not the cautious, broken smile of survival, but one born of peace. "You saved me," Richard said quietly one evening. "Not just from them, from being forgotten." Oliver shook his head. You saved me too. You reminded me who I am. The peace was real but not undisturbed. Letters began to arrive. Handwritten, typed, full of desperation. Victoria wrote first. Your father's health is failing. We have nothing. Please, we need help. Then Charlotte. I lost my job. I'm living with a friend. Please, just a small transfer, just this once. Oliver read each one, then burned them in the fireplace. The flames curled the words into smoke and ash, exactly what they deserved. William never wrote, but the rumours reached Oliver eventually. He had turned to alcohol, lost another job, accused Oliver of destroying the family. But it wasn't Oliver who destroyed the family. It was truth that revealed what was never real to begin with. One afternoon, Oliver stepped onto the porch with 2 cups of tea. The sun was warm, the breeze gentle. Richard sat in his chair blanket over his knees, watching the roses sway. You're stronger than I thought, Richard said. No, Oliver replied, smiling faintly. I just had nothing left to lose. They sat in silence for a while, watching the world, both men learning what peace felt like in their bones. Later that week, Oliver opened his laptop and made a donation, a significant one, to an organisation that provided legal aid to elderly victims of financial abuse, the exact amount that had been stolen from Richard's account. He didn't tell anyone, but when the donation receipt arrived, he pinned it to the fridge with a magnet shaped like a red rose. Months passed, and for once, the quiet wasn't suffocating. Oliver began painting again, something he'd loved before life turned into obligation. Richard tended the garden. They had dinners that turned into long talks, walks in the park, music on Sunday mornings. There was no drama, no manipulation, just life. One spring morning, Richard stood at the edge of the garden, watching the wind ripple through the rose petals. I thought I'd die in that nursing home, he said softly, voice almost lost in the breeze. You won't lose this place again, Oliver said, standing beside him. I promise. Richard reached for his grandson's hand. I'm proud of you, he whispered. You did what I never could. Oliver didn't reply. He didn't need to. The warmth in his grandfather's hand said everything. They stood there as the sun began to set, the garden bathed in amber light. The house behind them no longer held shadows. Only peace, only truth, only home.